How are you guys? I hope you all will be fine. Today I brought a new topic to discuss it with you because I often have noticed that most of the students find it very confusing when they study it because discourse analysis and critical discourse analysis look almost same, and where do they stem from? So we have to understand some very specific knowledge about these both terms. So first we will start with linguistics because topics, these all subfields, these all the study of linguistics. That is why linguistic is the scientific study of language. Branches of linguistics we already have gone through it, so no need to revise them again. So then when after pragmatics we come across social linguistics and psycholinguistics. So I think there is no further need to explain them more because when we talk about social linguistics, so obviously we know that the language is influenced by the social setup or evolving due to the social factors. So that is why it is more concerned with the social aspects of. Now, as far as psycholinguistics is concerned, it is a quite vast and complex topic. I will make another video about psycholinguistics because it is very important, and I cannot explain it into 3 or 4 lines. Now we come to the importance of linguistics. Linguistics helps us understand the rule, structure, and evolution of language, improving communication and cognitive process. The study of language is called linguistics. Must remember, it means we're talking about the study of language. Okay, distinction between discourse analysis and critical discourse analysis. Discourse is used in linguistics while linking it to general grammar. Discourse analysis versus critical discourse, which critical discourse analysis is also called CDA. Definition: discourse analysis (DA) focuses on how language is used in different contexts to convey meaning, examining patterns, structures, and functions in spoken or written communication. It's more descriptive and neutral. Now keep this neutral and descriptive both words in your mind because later on I am going to focus on these two things, that how these two terms, these two words make the meaning of both discourse analysis and critical discourse analysis totally opposite to each other. Critical discourse analysis goes a step further to investigate how language reflects and reinforces power dynamics, ideologies, and inequalities in societies. It's evaluative and interpretive. Now, I know that you find it hard to digest, so that is why I'm making it very simple for you. By CDA we mean that as we are talking about contextual meaning of sentences, sometimes one sentence can carry so many meanings. Now, when I told you about you have to keep this thing in your mind, we talked about descriptive and neutral. So, in CDA, we do not look at the discourse from the neutral perspective, but we observe that which kind of ideologies are in the power, and they are this much powerful that they can influence the discourse which discourse, news discourse, media discourse, political discourse, religious discourse, social discourse. Now, what are ideologies? You must be wondering about it. Basically, by ideology, we mean that a group of people, they are a group of people, but they are so dominant that they act like an ideology. We have Marxism ideology, we have, you can say, we have different ideologies. So that is why I say this is ideology. So in CDA, we look, you can say the sentence look very simple. It might seem to you that it is a neutral and descriptive sentence, but when you use the critical lens to understand its true meaning, then you will try to find the underlying hidden agenda behind the simple or neutral looking sentence. So that is why CDA is very much important, and goes a step further to investigate. We already have discussed this thing. Now, purpose. What is the purpose of this? DA, discourse analysis, aimed to describe and analyze language within social and situational context without passing judgment. Judgment is another crucial word in it, which makes it different from CDA. It asks what is the structure and function of this discourse. CDA examines how discourse shapes and its shaped by social forces such as power, dominance, and ideology. It also it asks who benefits or suffer from this discourse and why. Obviously, the powerful ideology will, you can say, get benefit, and the common masses will suffer. Now, scope encompasses a wide range of contexts, such as everyday conversation, interviews or narratives, focusing on linguistic features like cohesion. Cohesion, what is cohesion? Cohesion means, but when there is a, you can say there is a meaning in it. Cohesion, if there is no cohesion, I mean, you can say they are not related, so it means the meaning is obscure. That is why we say this. Including media, politics, and institutional communication. Theoretical foundations. DA grounded in linguistics and draws from social linguistics, pragmatics, and cognitive linguistics. CDA grounded in social theory, influenced by figures like Michel Foucault, Norman Fairclough, Ruth Wodak. It often aligns with social justice concerns. Now, these are the very renowned theorists who contributed in the field of this CDA, and especially these all contributed in a way quite different from the other theorists. Like Michel Foucault stress upon, or he focuses upon this power, that how a power can influence, you can say, a discourse. Norman Fairclough gives us a 3D model in which we read the text and then discourse and so on. Now, Ruth Wodak approach is a little bit different from both of them, because she relates the historical, you can say, cognition from the present with the present happenings, and on the basis of that, the critical discourse analysis or CDA functions. Now, focus. DA is concerned with what is being said and how it is being communicated. CDA concerned with why language is used in particular way. Now this is why. Why mean which ideology, what circumstances, which power, why. These why means which, who. These are the answers. Using discourse in linguistics but talking in general grammar. Discourse in linguistics serves as a bridge between the structure of language, grammar, and its use in real life context. Here is how it connects. Grammar as a foundation. General grammar provides the rules and structure for forming sentences, syntax, and meaning, semantics. However, grammar alone does not account for meaning, interaction, or larger context. Now, when we talk about grammar here in the context of discourse analysis or CDA, so here grammar, the use of grammar becomes a little bit different because we use the grammar terms to highlight that the you can say the influences which shape the discourse. We try to find those terms. Discourse considers how those grammatical structures function when people communicate in real world setting. For example, pronoun like he or it rely on discourse context to have meaning. Now I will give you example of this because Chun von Dyck, he was a very renowned theorist or moral, and he in one of his famous article about immigrants. So at the time of when Syrian were migrating, so he gave that you can say this presuppositions and these prepositions like they, us, we, them. So in simple grammar, these are just terms, these are prepositions. But when we study these terms from the critical analysis or critical lens, through the critical lens, we understand that it is highlighting an inferior, you can say, nation or or a superior nation. So that is why they have come up with these terms. So that is why we say that how can a power, how can a political, how can a religious, how can social factors can reshape the language or make it a biased language. CDA examines how discourse shapes and is shaped by societal forces such as power, dominance, and ideology. It asks who benefits or suffer from this discourse and why. Importance, we know the importance of that discourse analysis is very important when we have to study, when we have to analyze a very prominent person's speech or the discourse, or especially when we talk about our prime minister or like this. So these are very important. Whenever we have to analyze, so we look at the text or we look at the discourse from the DA or CDA or DHA lens. Theoretical foundation, DA, grounded in linguistics and draws from social linguistics, pragmatics, and cognitive linguistics. CDA, grounded in social theory, influenced by figures like Michel Foucault, Norman Fairclough, and Ruth Braddock. It often aligns with social justice concerns. DA concerned with what is being said and how it's being communicated. Now, it is, they are analyzed, but we are not uh, putting complete effort to try to extract the, you can say, the double meaning or hidden agenda lying behind the reshaped language or discourse. CDA concerned with why language is used in a particular way and whose interest it serves. Now, this is very important. When we say CDA, what it looks for, it looks for whose interest, power interest, ideology interest, political interest, social interest. These are the interests. So I have told you that these all can change the shape of the language. Using discourse in linguistics but talking in general grammar. We already have discussed this thing, so there is no need to again discuss it. Okay, now coherence beyond grammar. As I already have mentioned, and I have given you the example of Van Dyck, and I told you about that how he has given a very clear example of these how they are. They show a biased discourse when they say they, them. And we can find this example from the Ukrainian discourses used by the Sweden minister or Western media spokesman. So that is why we understand this thing. Discourse provides the implicit cause-effect relationship between the two sentences, general grammar and discourse. Okay, now we come to contextual and then discourse. I told you that whenever we move to another topic, there is a shift in that topic, and that shift, if it is missed, then it becomes a gap. So this is the teacher duty to highlight that shift. Okay, we have finished this topic, but what is the reason that we are going to, or we are moving to another topic? So this is the shift. The shift means that whatever you have read up till now, some important elements have just been presently introduced and they have become the part of it, so they are also need to be discussed. So that is why we say, why do we take a shift in pragmatics from text to contextual and then discourse? Pragmatic shifts from a focus from purely textual to contextual. We understand this thing that we are talking about contextual meaning, double meaning. Meaning of discourse refers to extended verbal or written form. Now, who coined these concept or terms? The concept of discourse as an area of study was popularized by philosophers and linguistics like Michel Foucault and Mikhail Bakhtin. How many types of discourse are there from a contextual perspective? From a contextual mean double meaning. So we have, I told you that written discourse, spoken discourse, non-verbal discourse. Is text in analysis more useful than discourse? Yes, because text is not, you can say it is not a very open, you can say it is not easy to reach to every person. But when we talk about discourse, if someone, just take an example of Trump. whatever he is giving speeches, and everyone is interested to listen to that discourse, that what he's going to say, what will be the hidden agenda behind his speech or behind his discourse. So that is why we say that discourse is very important. Text analysis focuses on specific linguistic elements, whereas discourse analysis examines how these elements function within real life context, often making discourse more comprehensive and understanding. Now we talk about, we have understood these all, that what is CDA, what is discourse analysis, what makes CDA different from the DA, and who are the pioneers who coined these terms, and how can we say that that discourse is more important to analyze rather than text, and we have covered these all things. So we say that the need for CDA, the introduction of critical discourse analysis, became necessary to understand the deeper social, political, and ideological forces embedded in discourse. Now there is a shift from discourse analysis to the CDA shift, because it was neutral, and now we are going to analyze that text or discourse from you can say a critical angle, that what is the agenda behind this discourse, which is influencing it, which is reshaping it. For example, I give you the example of Ukraine, and you can say EU EU countries. So we understand that pro-Russian or the people, because there was you can say a complaint by the Muslim refugees that we have not been welcomed the way Ukrainian refugees have been welcomed. So what is the reason? So then the discourse which were coming in front of all the people, so someone were giving a neutral discourse, but someone were giving you can say double meaning discourse, that they were advocating Ukrainians, they were calling these Ukrainians them, us. So that is why we say that these critical discourse analysis is very important. Pioneers of CDA include Tuan Von Dyke, Norman Fairclough, and Ruth Wodak. Their models are seen as the most effective lenses through which discourses can be analyzed to extract meaning, especially in context of power and inequality. Now we have to understand these things, that I already have made a differentiation in these three, that what is the basic purpose of Fairclough 3D model, what is the purpose of Ruth Wodak, and what is the purpose of Michel Foucault's you can say model, and what is so these they look alike, but they have some different aspect which make their ideology totally different. Religious, political, and social ideologies in discourse analysis. I told you about the ideologies, that what do we mean by ideologies, and I told you most of the time these ideologies you can say, shape, influence, or affect the discourses of media, of you can say ministers, of political leaders, of you can say the people who have an international fame. So that is why we say these ideologies are lying or hidden behind the facade of the simple discourse. But if they are studied from the critical lens, so people can easily extract that what is the real meaning of that speech or discourse or whatever it is. So the same is with political ideology. It serves the same purpose. Religious ideology, it serves the same purpose. Social ideology, it serves the same purpose. So we can, in other words, we can say that discourse is mostly effective, reshaped, influenced, or become biased, or because of these ideologies which I mentioned are political ideology, religious ideology, social ideology, and these are other minor ideologies which there is no need to mention them. So that is why we say social ideologies. So that is why I say that they reshape the discourses. That is why when we now everyone is listening to Trump's speech, but when they heard the speech of Justin Trudeau, so they approach that speech from the, you can say, they studied that discourse from the critical lens, and they understood that there is a hidden agenda behind it. So that is why I said that mostly these discourses are shaped or become biased due to the influences, especially the power. Power is the most important one, and power prevails in almost every country, and that power is, you can say, that power is in the hold of one country. So that is why we can say that power is the most influential ideology. So I think you have understood. I have explained all these things, and I hope you have understood that what is discourse analysis, what is critical discourse analysis, who coined these terms, and who were the pioneers, and how these, what are the ideologies, which kind of ideologies can affect the discourses, and why discourse is more important than the text, and these all things. So I think that is enough for today, and I think I will try to come up with another video, and in that video we will go into deep, you can say, discussion about these discourses, because they are quite complex, and